out, and now he's at a 1.5 year of rest. Like, I think it's going to be. Granted, like you said, he doesn't have weapons, but has he really ever had weapons at Carolina? I mean, Christian McCaffrey, yeah, but that was what he played with him for 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that MVP year, I think they lost Kelvin Benjamin before the season even started, and that was after his rookie year, where Kelvin Benjamin had like 10 touchdowns, 1,000 yards.
What's Kelvin Benjamin done without Cam Newton, though?
Yeah, so. I mean, I like it. I like Cam, and I think, as a Dolphins fan, I was actually excited to see maybe the Patriots start to crumble, no Tom Brady, and then it's like they go out and they get Cam Newton, and it's like back to square one, with them. So,
yeah. Well, okay, so by the way, I just actually screwed up, so we just went live right now, but we did record this, so you could go back, and we basically just mostly introed into it, but we do have the medicine man, also known as Dr. Coochie, on the line to give a little bit of his thoughts on whether or not Cam Newton is going to be able to be his old self, because he has had a decent amount of injuries, like rushing quarterbacks kind of do. So, do you guys want to go to Medicine Man?
Yeah, let's see what Dr. Coochie says.
All right, Dr. Coochie?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
What's up, brother?
Oh, my God. What a day.
All right, so, I mean, like you guys said, Cam Newton does have, a bit of history with injuries. The most recent one is that Liz Frank injury that happened last week, and he tried doing conservative treatments at first, but he ended up doing that surgery, I think week 2 it was. And I know we talked about Liz Frank injuries before with Alshon last time I was on. And those kind of take about 10 to 12 months for a full recovery. And if, you think about it, if they did it on week 2, it kind of sets them up right around the time for when football starts back up again. So I'm not sure if there is a preseason. I'm not sure if they're going to put him out there for preseason or if they'll kind of ease him into it. I guess it's kind of just the worry is if it's going to affect his playing style. And, we looked at there's, history and stats showing, how well offensive players kind of react to Liz Frank, and it's usually not as good as defensive players, like we said. So, I mean, like you said, he's a freak athlete. Is he going to be able to kind of put the mindset aside and be able to, be explosive and be able to run again? That's kind of the risk. I mean, I'd give a bit of risk just for re-injury, not just to his foot, though, but to his shoulder as well. I mean, I don't think the guy's had a full, healthy 17-game season since his MVP season.
Right.
So I'd probably rank it about like a 5 to 6 risk on the scale, because he hasn't stayed healthy the past 4 years.
True, but he's also never had a line as good as he's gonna have with the Patriots.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying, just for the health wise, if he can stay healthy, he's obviously great.
Justin's coming at the medicine man.
No, but I was just saying, no, I agree, but it's like he's gonna be.
Trying to throw any punches here.
No, I'm just saying,
he's risky.
Right. You're crushing Justin's spirit right now.
No, I just don't think he's going to get
from the medical standpoint, though.
I see that.
Football, it is physical, and how he has been injured from time to time. Obviously, it will be a better offensive line. So maybe they won't have him running around as much as they did in Carolina, especially in those first couple years that Cam was in the league. He was running around like a crazy person.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't run him as much, I think.
Do you think that Cam Newton, just for fantasy wise, because it did seem for a second like they were so set on Jeff Stidham. Do you worry about him not playing? Do you think, especially with the injury, that maybe they'll play Jeff Stidham instead week 1? Say you draft Cam Newton and you're like, oh, dude, I got this sick quarterback on the low.
No, Stidham is a bum. He's a bum. He was trash at Auburn. He had 2 good lucky games that were just terrible. He's not good. He was never good in college.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you, Medicine Man, for coming on. And
that was a dime.
Anything, if you're watching, if you want to go check out the YouTube, we're playing highlights of Cam Newton, so you could watch with us. But is there anything else you want to add on that Cam Newton knowledge?
No, I'd say that's about it.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you, Dr. Coochie. It's I don't think I keep forgetting to explain, but Dr. Coochie is a licensed physician assistant. But his advice, do not take home with you. This is just, extra fantasy advice. Don't take anything like that with you. But appreciate you, brother. Thanks, man.
Thanks,
right,
man.
Guys,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
What did Samson and Isaiah say? I can't see that far.
Oh, it says offensive. Okay, they're saying you don't need to be explosive or run. Tom Brady stayed back behind his line and through his whole career, no needing to run. Offensive is very different from Panthers.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's 100%.
Offense.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying. Like, I think Bill Belichick knows what he has, and he knows. I mean, obviously, if they're comfortable with Stidham, you're not going to go out and get a guy like Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. They are paying him on the low. They're getting a bar. It's like a low risk, high reward for what they're paying him. I mean, but in a pure talent standpoint, I mean, you're looking at the former MVP and the former #1 overall pick or Stidham. Like, who's better? You know what I'm saying? It's Cam by far.
Yeah,
so
but
I
mean, you're talking about the coach that benched Malcolm Butler in the.
Yeah, but I think when push comes to shove, like I said, Cam's got something to prove, especially if he wants to get a little payday, especially because he wants to get that respect back. He's going to go out there and he's going to perform. And I think they will incorporate him in runs. They'll have certain packages, kind of like the Lamar Jackson-esque kind of run packages, but I don't think they're going to run him as heavy as they did those first couple of years in Carolina. I mean, in Carolina, it was like kind of how Lamar Jackson is now. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Lamar Jackson's great, but the guy can't run the ball 150, 160 times a game, a year, and not expect to get banged up the same way Cam Newton did. So I think Cam coming back in should be a lot healthier. He's obviously going to run, but I think they'll utilize it in certain scenarios, and Belichick and Josh McDaniels will, exploit that to their advantage.
I like it, dude. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on, Cam? Killer Cam E?
So so you drafted Cam with the last pick in the mock draft. Only did 13 rounds, I think. Now, where would you assess where you'd be willing to take him in a mock draft?
Knowing that he's now with the Patriots?
Now you know that he's with the Patriots. Assuming that when he's played every game, 16 games in a year, he's finished as a top 5 quarterback.
Honestly, I'm comfortable with making him if I can only have one quarterback on my roster to start, I'm comfortable getting him in the 11th, 12th round.
Yeah. So you're still waiting until like 10th round?
Yeah, I'd still wait 10th round, especially
because he'll probably fall to that. I can't imagine a scenario where he jumps into these higher rounds, especially with how deep I feel like the quarterback scenario is now.
But especially, I just think that New England offensive line, like Samson was saying, like that. Tom Brady, how many times was Tom Brady knocked down? And if he can stand up in that pocket and throw the ball like he was able to at Auburn, because he's never had a line like that with Carolina.
Yeah,
he's going to stand back there. Granted, they don't have the weapons, but if they can groom him into, hey, these are the reads, these are the checkdowns, and teach him, and with all that time he's going to have, and then he can take off and run. I'm winning fantasy football this year with Cam Newton.
Well, one scenario that I think is kind of interesting, though, is obviously with him and Christian McCaffrey back in Carolina. I mean, James White is just as capable as a pass catcher as Christian McCaffrey. So I think he'll be comfortable, kind of have like that the familiarity of like having a pass catching back like James White because he's played with CMC. And I think that can only help him, being able to just check it down to a guy like James White. But I like Cam. I hope he stays healthy. And here's the thing too. Like, I hate the Patriots. I despise the Patriots with a passion. But Cam is one of my all-time favorite players. So it's like I'm low-key rooting for him. Yeah. But I hate the Patriots, so it's weird. But I really hope Cam balls out.
I was gonna say, Gronk and Tom. People are writing in these comments. Yeah, sorry. I don't know. I got derailed for a second. I don't know what I was about to say. Tyler.
Oh, I don't know.
What are these comments from these?
Okay, it says you want to win and stay on the team. You follow the plan. Newton ain't Brady. I don't think Newton fits New England's scheme. He wants to leave the pocket and throw on the run. Whoa. Yeah, that is a good point though, to be honest, because they really like Tom. That's why when I did hear this rumor that Cam Newton going to the Patriots. I do feel like it is a weird, like just based on the way Tom Brady plays and based on the way Cam Newton plays, it is like a different thing.
It is, but what I'm saying is I agree with what was that Isaiah who said that?
Yeah.
So I agree in that aspect, but I think that Cam is like, okay, hey, I've been injured. People wrote me off. They don't think I can still think I can play this position. So now what if Cam is like, let me adjust to what the New England Patriot way is. Let me see what Bill Belichick is talking about and let me adjust my game. And then with that skill set that he could possibly bring, then he can be the old Cam. At the same time, he's even more of a dynamic quarterback.
Yeah. You know what I say?
I like it.
Tyler likes it. We can move on to our next thing in the headlines.
Oh, and yes, they make the playoffs. Patriots make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to bet against Bill.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people that I think that it's Bill. I don't think it's Tom Brady. I always joke about him being able to do the same thing with Ryan Leaf.
I mean, that year that Brady got hurt week 1, Matt Castle still won 11 games from him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Garoppolo still won games.
Yeah.
Cam Newton's better than both of those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can jump into the next thing right here. What do we got next?
We got AB was working out with Russell Wilson all over Instagram.
My boy.
Yeah, so a lot of people, obviously this made a lot of news. This is all over ESPN, SportsCenter, because there's literally no sports going on. So if you catch a ball from a quarterback and you aren't in the league, you're going to be on you're going to be on TV. What's it called? Yeah, so Antonio Brown going to Seattle, that would be pretty sweet. Would you guys be cool with that? Like, do you like this idea of them playing together? I like it.
I love it. I'm big Antonio Brown fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this, I think, on an episode or two ago, but how, AB could come back in and he's still going to be a top 10 wide receiver in the league instantly. I mean, the guy's still savage. Obviously, he just, I don't know, his ego or just like the screws are loose. Maybe he's got a little bit of CTE. Who knows? Maybe Vontaze Burfict, knocked a couple screws loose. But, I mean, still top 10 in terms of like pure talent. The guy is super good. I know that there's been speculations that the Seahawks and the Ravens have been looking at him. I mean, I would love it if he went to the Seahawks. I mean, I think it would hurt DK Metcalf's value, and I'm pretty high on DK Metcalf coming into this year. So if AB came in, obviously that hurts DK Metcalf's value. But, I mean, one guy who I love with or without AB is Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is primed for an MVP type of year. So, but if you get a guy like AB, I mean, I think Russell Wilson would be almost like a lock to get that, like an MVP.
Yeah, I'm looking at more like that. I mean, it's crazy. I think Tom Brady or Antonio Brown made like top offensive player for fantasy. I think top 5 the most times out of any player. I think it was like 6 times he made top 5, which is pretty crazy.
Just think how many times when he was with Big Ben that he would have big plays when Big Ben had to scramble and break down outside of the pocket. Russell Wilson does that every single play.
For sure, yeah.
And it could be nasty.
We got Samson says, send him over to Baltimore with his boys. Yeah, I mean, because his cousin is there, but I feel like I'd rather have Russell Wilson throwing me the ball than
he wouldn't be good in Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, like
I don't care what people say. Like I know Lamar Jackson's really good, but I still think he has like inaccuracy issues. It's gotten better, but it still is. It's not like his. I feel like Antonio Brown's gonna be throwing his hands up every time Lamar Jackson runs for a touchdown. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we'll see if he can get back into the league. I don't know if a coach or a GM is going to take a shot on AB with everything that he went through last year. But, I mean, yeah, the guy's super talented. Still can go out there and just embarrass DBs left and right. Yeah. So, but I guess if there's one coach, Pete Carroll's kind of like, he just wants to win. You're a USC guy.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Pete Carroll's not afraid of shying away from some rules with the whole USC thing that happened back in the day. So, obviously he doesn't
allegations.
Yeah, the allegations, quote unquote. So, yeah, obviously, he doesn't really care. So I think it might come down to the ownership of the actual Seahawks. But I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it's like you want to win a Super Bowl. Like, you got to make some sacrifices sometimes. Like, you got to go get players. And if it doesn't work out, that's what it is. It could for him to sign with a team. Yeah. Obviously, he's going to want some money, so it's going to be like a $10 to $15 million contract. So it's like, is a team willing to give him $15 million guaranteed for him to like fuck up in a sense?
Right.
That's really the big question.
I don't think he's gonna get that much money from anybody.
But why though?
But I just because he's got all. I mean, if I'm just looking at it like an asset I could get, if I'm like an NFL owner or whatnot, I'm like, okay, well I can get this guy for cheap because there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of teams. I don't even know if I don't even know exactly if the league is allowing him in there. You know what I mean? Because he has like allegations, but they're technically allegations, and he's doing his time for whatever the assault thing was on that moving truck guy.
Yeah.
Samson said Josh Gordon to
Coming back to Seattle.
Seattle, and I say,
I was like, oh, say less.
Poor Josh Gordon, man.
My boy.
yeah,
Poor Josh
that's
Gordon.
another story. But yeah, we'll see what happens with AB. I think I'd be hyped if he went to Seattle because I think the Seahawks. Like I said, I like Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm a Russell Wilson fan.
He's consistent too. All right. Well, speaking of Josh Gordon, we're talking about in this next one. Oh no, wait, wait. We'll talk about this first. I think we should.
Yeah.
We can go in and Zeke faded is the title of this. Ezekiel Elliot
Yes.
was on live stream.
Yeah, so this was it. So Zeke was
Yeah, go
playing Warzone or whatever. He's on the live stream. You want to play the video?
Yeah, I don't have I can't play the audio in here, but I can.
So
play the
yeah,
video.
so he's playing Warzone. The game ends. He thinks that the live stream is over. You see him reaching for what I believe looks like a glass. He's probably sipping on something, and he goes, "Oh shit, I'm faded." And then all of a sudden he looks over and he goes, "Oh man, I'm still streaming. Like I didn't turn it off." And then he turns it off. But Sports Illustrated came out and wrote an article saying that Zeke admits to being high on live stream. But it's like the guy just said he was faded. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, "Oh, I'm lit." Like you know. I smoked a blunt or anything like that. He's not even holding a blunt or any smoke in the video. You can actually see him going for a cup. He's obviously just sipping on something. But, yeah, he's pretty upset because, you know, Sports Illustrated came out and was claiming that he was high, which could potentially get him in some trouble with the league. I mean, I know they're a little more lenient now when it comes to...
I thought the new players agreement they're allowed to smoke.
They are, but there's still like a certain threshold, I think, of, you know...
Like you can't be lit.
Well, yeah, you can't be like you can't smoke too much, and then obviously he could get in trouble where he'd have to go into like the substance abuse type of programs and stuff like that.
That also could affect his sponsorships, bro. That's money.
100%. So yeah, so he was talking about potentially suing Sports Illustrated for what was the word you said earlier, Mike?
Defamation.
Defamation.
Which is like,
so.
yeah, I don't know exactly what he would technically sue, but
Samson said chill. Tyler and Justin look faded.
hey, did you see the Shannon Sharp though when he was like, they were like, yeah, he was reported. He said low key faded. He said he was low key faded, and then Shannon Sharp goes, "Yeah, I'm low key faded right now."
I love Shannon Sharp.
He's
That
funny,
dude is
man.
hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, dude, when I say faded, I've most of the times I've ever said like I'm faded, I'm talking about getting drunk. Like I've never really said it if I'm high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is kind of like a funny, I don't know.
Yeah, Sports Illustrated is
You jumped the gun.
Yeah, they messed up on that. I hope they should be sued for that.
Fake news.
Especially if Elliott loses endorsements and if it
Yeah,
gets
like you say,
big.
yeah. Someone might be like, "Oh, well, we can't have him.
Yeah.
We can't endorse a guy who's smoking
Yeah.
weed and stuff like that." But I don't know. It's pretty funny. I've actually taken care of Zeke working at one of the clubs out here, and I just say, man, this guy he does
parties.
he does act like a fool. He does wild out. Like he was running around, jumping on speakers, like running around to different women and shit. And I was just thinking, like, bro, like you better be careful. You're gonna get like caught up on something. Or he was jumping on these speakers that are like 8 feet high, and I'm just like, bro, like what if you fall? You're lit, obviously. Or faded. Like, what if you fall, bro, or something? Like, you break a leg or
do you remember that?
sprain something.
Because I was working with you at that time,
Yeah.
and like there was just there was like a mob of people just following him around.
He was just running around the pool like a...
It was his rookie. It was him and Dax, like both rookie year.
Yeah, it's him,
They
Dak,
had
and
a really great-
Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
How old is he? What is he? 24? 23?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's like Nico's age. So what is that?
I don't know. He's still a savage. I'm not worried about it. It's some interesting news that, it's funny how people can like just quickly jump the gun and just accuse someone of something.
Yeah.
When they have no...
We got in the comments. Weed is the big industry right now. Hopefully, a company will sponsor the man.
Watch it. Zeke with the source shirt. Oh, wow. That worked out.
Jardin. Okay, ready to go on to the next one here?
Let's do
Boys,
it.
let's okay, we went backwards. No more preseason. So I know it's not that there still is a preseason. Technically there's but they did cancel a few games. Do you know exactly what it was, right, Tyler?
So, yeah, you were telling me that they canceled the Hall of Fame game, right? Because
Right.
the Steelers were supposed to be in that game,
Yeah.
right?
So I got a bunch of
whoever
notifications
plays in the
for
Hall of Fame game always plays 5 preseason games just because it's that extra game, and then the rest of the league will play 4 preseason games. So they had already canceled the Hall of Fame game, and now they've officially come out and canceled 2 preseason games of the 4. So now there will only be scheduled for right now, at least, only 2 preseason games. But I think this is kind of trending in the direction that they want to go anyways, because they've been talking about only doing 2 preseason games for a while. So this is kind of just like an extra way for them to like really clarify it.
Right.
And then obviously with the whole coronavirus, COVID shit that's going on.
Coronavirus.
So yeah, I think they're just trying to be a little bit safe than sorry right here. This is probably more for like rookies who are trying to really make the team. You know, obviously 2 less games is going to impact them on, you know, playing time and their ability to get on the field and make the team. For veterans, I'm not sure if it's going to really affect them too much.
I think it sucks. Not having preseason sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if do you guys even get into the preseason?
I like watching the preseason because you can see like these players, like
Yeah.
you know, these rookies are come in or you
yeah.
know, maybe second or third year guys who haven't really shined, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden they're stepping up.
Yeah, I didn't really get into preseason until Kai started. Like I was like, man, preseason games are boring. These guys are trash. But like following college and then seeing like these players who were good in college and the opportunity and seeing how cutthroat the NFL is and how just like these guys are fighting for positions every single week. Like,
Yeah.
I think the preseason is it's for the veteran guys. Cool, don't play. We know what you can do. We don't care.
Right.
You're going to be there in the regular season. But all these other guys fighting for that opportunity to show you what they can do. Like, I love that. I mean, the coaches dial everything down. The playbook's boring. But these guys are going balls out because they know, like, I got to make this roster.
They got to make this roster.
So that's why I'm kind of bummed, like, not having a preseason.
Yeah, I mean I think that's for fantasy wise. It's like that's the thing that sucks the most is just like you said. I think you said, Tyler, is just not being able to see what players are going to be used. Like especially with these teams that have, you know, complete new offensive changes. I feel like there's so many quarterbacks that are moving to different teams and whatnot, and it's like, okay, I want to see, you know, who they're good with, or who, and even with, you know, camps and whatnot. I feel like we get a lot of information from that. It's just this coronavirus is really like throwing a wrench in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
You
for
just
sure.
can't see a lot of
I just hope we still have football. I mean,
I
I
know,
think it's
man.
on track. I feel like as long as baseball and basketball can start and finish, or like, you know, continue without having any delays or suspending like the play, I think then football will be on a good track to you know, be on the line.
They playing 18 games this year? Is it this year?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
it doesn't go into effect until the following year.
Dang it.
But yeah, well, anything else on that? Just throwing it. Yeah, and listen, it's off season. There's not so much to talk.
It's just news. I mean,
Yeah,
like you said,
just-
because
right.
you know,
So is it 100% canceled? I didn't hear that.
yeah, two
Okay.
of the games are canceled.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
there's only they're only slated to play 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
good to know.
did hear, I don't know if you guys heard that, not, it's kind of irrelevant, but because they're not going to have preseason, they're going to allow more roster spots.
Yeah, we were talking about if they should do something like that. So yeah.
That's kind of big. And plus I heard the practice squads are going to go from 11 players to 16.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good benefit there. Like I feel like that's fair.
Well, you got to think like it's say one offensive lineman gets corona, and then like he hangs out with like other linemen,
That's true.
and then like your whole offensive line is just
Yeah.
out. Like,
Yeah.
I just that's where it gets crazy. That's where
That's
it's like
also
this.
true,
This
yeah.
might be nuts next season. So yeah.
Coronavirus.
All right, you want to get into our sleepers or what?
We can get into the sleepers. Do you have the sleeper?
Yeah, it should be on the S or no?
Nope. Wait.
The testosterone high today.
Nope. The testosterone is high today.
There should be like intro sleeper something like that on there.
I don't know. I don't see it. I've been looking at them all.
Well, anyways, Zeke faded. Well, we got your boy here. I don't understand what is your fascination with this man, Tyler.
Oh, the Bake Show?
Yeah.
The Bake Show?
I like it.
Tyler for some reason loves Baker Mayfield. I just can't get behind it. Obviously, I'm a Steelers fan, so like maybe that's why I just
Yeah.
can't get behind a Browns quarterback. But it's the Browns though. That's like whenever you talk about it, I just think it's the Browns.
No, I feel you for sure, yeah. And you know what it was? I think everyone was kind of hyped over the Browns last year.
Yeah.
They're kind of, you know, slated as like this dream team, and like, you know, obviously I feel like whenever any team is slated as like a dream team, they bust. You
Yeah.
know? You
Buccaneers.
come into like a little arrogant and cocky. You got to be like humbled in a sense. So, and plus I feel like Baker was making more commercials than actually diving into like the playbook and trying to be good, especially when he came out his rookie year. You know, he broke the rookie passing touchdown record with 27. He only played 14 games. He's probably thinking like, oh, I could do this in my sleep and do all these commercials. But it's like, nah, bro, you can't. Like, you got to week to week, you got to be dialed in because, you know, it's the NFL, you know?
Right.
There's no slouches. But no, I do like Baker Mayfield. I mean, you can't argue that there's a lot of talent on this team. You got OBJ, Landry. They go get Hooper. You still got Njoku. I mean, you got Chubb, and then they have Kareem Hunt, who they're talking about moving out to line up at wide receiver, as well as doing double running back sets too. So
that would be fire.
I mean, he's got a weapon, so that's not even it right there. I think the big problem is, obviously interceptions. 14 his rookie year, 21 last year, so you don't like seeing that. You want to see him clean that up. But I think the biggest problem was the O-line. He got sacked 40 times last year. It's a pretty good amount. But they go out and they address that. They go draft Jedrick Willis from Alabama in the first round. They go out and sign Jack Conklin from the Tennessee Titans to boost up the right and the left tackle side. But then they bring back their guard and their starting center, Joel Bettino and J.C. Treader. And those guys were actually graded as the 10th and 12th best pass blockers on Pro Football Focus. So that offensive line is primed to be a top 5 offensive line. Yeah, I think that offensive line is going to be really good.
That's crazy.
Obviously, they get Stefanski as the head coach now, former offensive coordinator from the Minnesota Vikings. So just some numbers with Stefanski and Kirk Cousins, with the Vikings. But with Stefanski there as the first year as the offensive coordinator, Kirk Cousins posted his best passer rating of his career, and he posted a career low for interceptions. So we can see if maybe that he'll help Baker. Like I said, the interceptions are a problem, but I think if he can come in there and just kind of really take those interceptions down, protect the ball, we'll see what he can do right there. But one big thing with Stefanski is that, they like to run the play action. Last year, the Vikings ran play action on 31.4% of the plays. That's good for Baker because Baker's completion percentage was way better when they ran play action. 66.5 completion percentage on play action passes, Baker Mayfield. On regular passes, it dropped 10% to 56.4%. So, you got, like I said, you're boosting up that line, and you got running backs like Chubb, who was graded as the best running back on Pro Football Focus, and you got Kareem Hunt, who's also savage as well. So they're going to be able to run the play action.
Yeah, and that's what made him successful at Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that's where he was money.
And then Baker, like I said, pretty money on play action. Actually had 11 play action passing touchdowns. That was third most in the NFL. Who was the most play action passing touchdowns in the NFL? Kirk Cousins with Stefanski at 14. And then just some more numbers right here. OBJ and Landry ranked second and third most in terms of receiving yards on play action passes. So even though they weren't that good, Landry and OBJ were second most and third most when you're talking about play action passes. And that's what I'm just preaching right here. Play action passes. You got good running backs. You got a solid line. I just think that, we'll see. He finished as QB 20 last year. I think his rank for the experts or whatever is like 15, 16 around there. Yeah. I just think he could sneak into the top 12, maybe the top 10.
Yeah, for sure.
They have the weapons, you know.
But the thing is, man, they got to play the Ravens twice. They got to play the Steelers twice. I do not want to play those defense 4 times.
Yeah,
I'm not really concerned about the Ravens defense as much as I am the Steelers defense.
But there's people who are ranking the Ravens defense above the Steelers defense, which to me, I think that's insane. But
it's insane.
But the fact that people are doing that, don't you think that would contribute to how good their defense is, or say that? I would say that their defense is.
I think the Steelers defense is
better.
Could be the best defense in the entire league.
But you're not. You feel comfortable starting him any one of those weeks?
See, here's the thing too. If you hear me, I always say getting double quarterbacks and matchup playing them.
Right,
so maybe you'll get 2 quarterbacks. You'll get Baker in the 12th round or whatever, 13th round. But then you pair him with a Stafford or a Matt Ryan, and you just play the matchup. So maybe 1 week he's playing in Pittsburgh. Obviously, that's not a good matchup. Right. But now you have Stafford, and Stafford's at home against. I don't know. Stafford's home against a bad defense, like the Cardinals, maybe for instance, or something like that. A bad passing defense. So you match up base them right there. But and just something else that I kind of saw right here was that OBJ wasn't OBJ last year. I think that's why everyone was hyped on Baker Mayfield because you're like, oh, you're getting OBJ. He's a savage. But OBJ did have 33 deep targets. That was second most in the entire NFL, but only had 8 catches on those 33 targets at a 24% completion percentage. So if that completion percentage could go up to about 50 on the deep passes, that's just more yardage, more opportunities. You're getting more first downs, so you're staying on the field more. So I don't know. I like Baker. I'm probably going to take a lot of shots on him. Like I said, in the later rounds, I'll pair him up with Stafford, Matt Ryan. Like I said, maybe my boy Tannehill. Play the matchups.
My boy Tannehill, and I was with you that whole everything you were saying. I was like, wow, I've actually given you a lot of good knowledge that you've taken and run with until you said Tannehill. Then you lost me. You lost everything that I was riding with you. I was like, that's not super hot fire.
Backwards.
Hey, that was good. That was
Wait,
good.
hold on.
Bro.
Was that?
Dumb fire? Fire. No, that was, and bro, like
I thought you hit it twice, but it was Justin just saying it again.
that was like seriously, like all the things you said, you're 100% right. Like minus the Tannehill thing, and then a healthy Kareem Hunt. Like I mean, to play the full season,
nuts.
bro. That off. I mean, yeah, okay, they do got to play the Steelers, they do got to play the Ravens, but like you said, in any other matchups, like that offense could be lethal.
So with those, this is like an honest question. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like with the deep targets, why were any of those like uncatchable, or do they not register? Like you know what I mean? Or if they were just like super inaccurate, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was.
I can't imagine Odell missing that many.
Yeah, he had 2 drops of the 33,
Right.
and then I want to say I wrote it down. I think it was like 10 or 12 of them were uncatchable passes.
Okay.
So, but obviously that's got to get cleaned up as well.
Right.
But I think, like you said, you're looking for Odell deep. Play actions where it's at. You're running the ball, chub. You're just gashing them, especially because that offensive line is going to be nasty. They're going to be able to move the ball on the ground, and then you do a play action Odell deep, and I just think you're going to see a lot more home run plays this second year from Odell than the first year. And then of course you got Landry, who's a savage.
Gosh, here we go. We're getting a Dolphin run around.
Is Landry not a savage?
I'm not a big Landry fan.
Oh man,
I'm not. Just a little bit.
Listen, dude, you know what I have to say about that?
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
But no, yeah, the guy's got a ton of weapons, so yeah, I do like Baker.
Yeah, I like that with the match with the pair up. It's not bad. Matt Stafford or Matt Ryan with Baker Mayfield. That's not. Yeah, I like it.
Hey, we got a comment down here. I think he's hating on my team that I drafted earlier.
Yeah, but we weren't talking about Dalvin Cook, so I just didn't want to talk.
Hard pass.
No, but I'm saying for when we were talking about Baker, but we can address that. He said, AA says Dalvin Cook doesn't need to get paid. Madison won't break the bank. Yeah, I think I feel like Dalvin Cook should learn from these other guys that held out that it's kind of not worth it, or they should just, I don't know. But it sounds like he wasn't asking for that much money though. Right? He was asking for like. I didn't know that. He was asking for like middle tier amount of money, right?
Yeah, he wants like 13 million plus or something like that.
Ooh, so if
McCaffrey's making like 16 million.
If he holds out, my draft team is looking fine.
Yeah, all your
just
backups.
as I suspected. See?
That's funny. Okay, we can move on to the next guy here,
Let's
eh?
get Baker.
Okay, we're gonna go on my guy here. I got Nkeal Harry from ASU. Okay, so Nkeal Harry last year, he was drafted 32nd overall from ASU. He right now his ADP is like 13th round and half point PPR. He's going around like the 7th round in dynasty drafts. He only played what was it? He started in 5 games last year. 12 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not like really the best, but I will say that this is the main reason I think Nkeal Harry's a sleeper is you're getting him in those last rounds. He could almost go like you can make an argument he could possibly like in full point PPR he's going 14th round. You could almost see him not get drafted. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, for sure.
But this guy Bill Belichick's. I think there's only 2 players that he's ever drafted at 2 wide receivers that in the Bill Belichick era that they've ever drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
So it's like to me, it's like okay, Bill obviously seen something in him. Yeah. Obviously, he got injured in the beginning of the season, so it kind of screwed all that up. But I think if he comes back, you're getting a guy in the 14th round that could possibly be the number 1 target. And you got Cam Newton going there now. We were just talking about him earlier in the episode. Yeah. I just feel like it can't. You can't lose to me.
That's true.
It's like what other players are you getting in those rounds? Those 13th, 14th round.
Yeah. It's like a player that can actually hit and pop.
Right.
A lot of times, like you might. Those are like the first couple players you're thinking about dropping on the waiver wire,
right?
And making moves for.
You think he could be the number 1 receiver in New England?
Yeah.
Over Edelman?
Yeah.
I like it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it could be. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what Cam Newton leans on. I mean, the guy is 6'4", so he's obviously massive. But I mean, don't forget that Mohamed Sanu is there as well.
Yeah, that's
true. They traded a 2nd round draft pick for him. You don't trade a 2nd round draft pick for a guy just to throw him to the back burner after 8 games.
True.
Is what Mohamed Sanu is how old?
Old enough.
Old enough to be in the
party.
league. To party.
I just think I'm not even. I really don't know, but I feel like Mohamed Sanu has been in the league for a while.
No, for sure. Yeah.
You know, you get what's it called? You're not going to be a sophomore slump because technically he barely had a rookie year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still haven't Baker Mayfield.
I saw something.
Going.
I did see. I think a stat saying that New England was the worst team creating separation for their wide receivers. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
That could be a.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, for them to go out and address the wide receiver position in the first round, you know, they were like, okay, we've got to get this guy. You know, and obviously they saw something in him to go get him, to spend a first round draft pick on him.
True.
You know, so obviously there's plans to utilize him in the offense. You know, obviously he was banged up last year.
Yeah.
You know, couldn't get anything really going. I mean, obviously second year in the league. You would like to think that he'll make that progression and make that stride forward.
Yeah, I just think we just didn't get enough of a sample from him. So, and I just think that like,
do you think he's like a really good dynasty? Like if you're like, we're about to do a startup dynasty league. So like in the startup dynasty league, do you think he's like a really good player who's maybe like you know, you've heard me say before, like okay, maybe he's going in the 14th round, but are you reaching higher for him in a dynasty league because you think that he could potentially boom and be way more valuable than that?
I wrote down his ADP in dynasty drafts is 6.7. Yeah. So 6th round and like middle 6th round. So I mean, I think you're still getting really good value on that.
That would that would be good. Because I'm a big Pac-12. I love the Pac-12, and I remember seeing these highlights now. I'm like, oh, I do. Like he's a monster.
Yeah, he's good.
He was a monster, bro. Like every single play he was making. I mean, play after play after play after play all the time, and I totally forgot. So that was a great sleeper. You two are coming with some knowledge.
You said you had a couple.
We do run a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm
usually not impressed. Right now, I'm currently impressed.
Says the guy who's finished in last place.
I won my other 2
years.
leagues.
Yeah, you do seem to not focus on that league. I'll throw you that bone.
Thank you.
What's it called? You said you had a couple things about Nkeal Harry.
Yeah, but I was like he could what I think he could be for everything that you said. I 100% agree with. He could be to the Patriots and to Cam. I don't know if you guys remember when Cam and Ted Ginn had like a nasty connection.
Yeah,
he could be that Ted Ginn type receiver, and because Cam's always been a deep Cam's always trying to make plays. Yeah. This guy's a playmaker, and if he's going deep, man, like he could literally be like the Ted Ginn Cam connection, and that's where I was thinking like. Man, that could be pretty good if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, we see how big he is, and at 6'4", I mean, how what's the average height of a defensive back? I feel like 6 foot's like a good height for a DB.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got looking at a guy who's 6'4" with a 38-inch vertical. I mean, you just throw him up the jump ball, and he's so big, right? He looks like he just like box the guy out, and pretty much go get that rebound, high point the ball. Yeah. So
he was like the number 10 high school player coming out of high school, I believe. Also. I don't know why. I forgot why he ended up going to ASU, but he's a stud. Good call,
because
Mike.
Good call. A lot of hot girls there.
Let me ask you this, Justin, since you do watch the
Pac-12
a lot, are you concerned with how like the Pac-12 is not really known for defense, so maybe he's feasting on like lesser talent compared to like if you played in the SEC, or like okay, like the SEC's talent at corner is way superior than the Pac-12. So are you concerned with that at all, or no? Are you just thinking like he's just super talented?
He's super talented, and I'm not a big I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I'm not a fan of the SEC at all. Like I don't think they're like their defenses are so good. Their offenses are their baby offenses, and now the SEC has kind of. In the last 2 years, it's kind of expanded to the spread offense that the Pac-12's been doing, and people are scoring more touchdowns. Their defenses aren't as dominant. Look at what LSU did. LSU was always just ground and pound, boring, solid defense, but boring offense, couldn't score. Now they're spreading the ball out. They're scoring 40, 50 points a game on just like they are in the Pac-12. Yeah. So that's where I think the athletes in the Pac-12 and the athletes in the SEC I think they match up. Like I really don't think there's a big drop off there. Yeah. And I don't know if when you saw Oregon playing Auburn, those games are always close. And Oregon doesn't have a dominant defense, but those games were back and forth. They never dominated Pac-12 teams. So I hate the SEC. But go Utah and go Huskies this year. Just a little plug right there.
Sure. Hey, so AA in the comments, he says Dalvin Cook sucks. But just really hating on Dalvin Cook. Wow. Now, Hey, listen. So if you're still watching, if you're on the stream right now, go. Well, after the stream, we actually we broke down Dalvin Cook, his injuries. I clipped it on our YouTube channel. If you want to go check it out, maybe
subscribe.
Subscribe. Go check it out. But if you go look at that, maybe it will change your opinion on Dalvin Cook. But anyways,
yeah, he definitely does.
Or either way, or support it. Yeah, you can't say he sucks.
But I hope he holds out so I can get Madison, and that'd be another.
Yeah, that'd be. Yeah, I mean, you can get Madison for cheap on that.
You know what that would be? That would be what? Dumb fired.
Exactly.
He's like, ah.
I love it. Okay, let's move on to this is your boy. You ready for this?
Yeah, dude. All right, so this is your first official sleeper, dog. You tell me you didn't even want to give us this knowledge.
I didn't want to. I actually didn't want to share this.
But then I threatened to kick you out of the house.
I didn't want to share this with the world, but this is going to be, let's go ahead and mark this and timestamp this. This is going to be a top 5 fantasy running back this year.
Top 5.
Top 5 fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm ready to go on a huge rant about Ronald Jones. But you know where Ronald Jones is from, right?
USC.
Exactly. So I'm a little homer.
All right, well, let's hear it. Let's hear this.
Okay, so Tom Brady, back to the same thing with Cam Newton. Tom Brady's got a bunch to prove, right? So he's got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, and they got somebody else. Throw me a bone here. They still got Brate?
They still got Brate. They
Yeah,
drafted
they got Brate.
Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota, who I thought was actually really talented.
So and Bruce Arians is gonna throw the ball 45, 50 times a game if Tom Brady can hold up to that, which I think he can. You're not going to be able to load the box. You're not going to be able, you're going to have one linebacker on a speedy Ronald Jones every single game, and Tom Brady is going to check into. They could come out in a 4 wide, maybe 5 wide, because he can't pass catch, but I really don't think he's that bad. I mean, with Tom Brady, touch passes, I think he can catch those.
Yeah.
But you put him one-on-one with any linebacker with his speed, and he's quick. The offensive line is. We'll see how the offensive line holds up. But
They drafted Tristan Wirfs, right?
Oh yeah, that's
first
true.
round.
That's true.
So they're trying to beef it up.
Yeah. So I mean, and last year there was games where Ronald Jones was like he has explosiveness, and there was games where he played good. And I think this year, look at that, bro. He's gonna have that all year long, and his breakaway speed, bro. It's I just think that one linebacker on him with that Tampa Bay offense throwing 45, 50 times a game, they're gonna be in field goal range or goal line. I would say 65, 70% of the time. And he's just going to get – imagine how many touchdowns he's going to get from the 1 or 2 yard line if he's the goal line back, which he might not be. If he's not, then I take back what I said about the top 5. But, bro, he's I don't know, man. Tom Brady, I think, is going to make him that much better. And with that receiving core, bro, how could you not be a successful running back in that offense? Remember who was before he got hurt with Arizona? 4 years ago with Carson Palmer?
David Johnson?
No, not David Johnson. Before David Johnson.
Andre Ellington?
Andre Ellington. Remember the year Andre Ellington had? I think he had 2 big years, bro, and he was just, with that offense, they were slinging the ball everywhere, but he finished the top 5, didn't he?
So
he's pretty good. I don't know about top 5, but yeah, it's a serviceable guy that you're throwing in your lineup every single week.
Before he got hurt, bro, he was a monster, I think, in 2016, maybe 17.
Yeah.
And I think Ronald Jones is going to be the same.
I mean, one thing I can say with Ronald Jones, I did feel like they were kind of like in a running back by committee last year with him and Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
But I feel like every time he got 15 or more touches, he was giving you 10-plus fantasy points. So a serviceable flex or a low-end RB2 every single week when given the opportunity. Yeah. Are you not concerned that they went out and drafted Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt? I mean, you still have Peyton Barber on the team as well.
Yeah. I not really. I mean, he could take goal line touches away because he's bigger.
Yeah.
So that could be an issue, and that could hurt Ronald Jones. And Ronald Jones kind of does have turnover issues, but I just think with people playing with the team that he's going to be on and playing with somebody like Tom Brady, he was like a number 1 recruit coming out of high school. The guy was a great running back in college. Like, you just don't stop being great, in my opinion. And he's just going to elevate his game to play with that team. Like, when he was playing with SC and they had receivers like that, that's when Ronald Jones was phenomenal. And I just think he could do that again. He's still young, like. He could be mean.
I mean, I know when we broke down the rookies, I was not impressed with Keyshawn Vaughn. I did not think he was very good at all. I mean, he's okay, but I can't imagine him coming in and being like the lead dog and just taking over the backfield. I am a little concerned that maybe it does stay a running back by committee, I am looking at the roster right now. It doesn't show Peyton Barber actually on the roster.
Oh, really?
For right now, so I don't know if they release him or whatnot. But so yeah, they do have Keyshawn Vaughn. Maybe he's just a backup, but I think Keyshawn Vaughn gets evolved a little bit at least for the pass catching, because at least Keyshawn Vaughn can catch. I don't know what it is about Ronald Jones. Why can't you catch the ball, especially when a lot of these passes are within 5 to 10 yards of the line of scrimmage? You can't catch the ball. I don't understand.
But look at his speed.
I will say
when
after you said you were taking Ronald Jones, I was looking at some highlights and I was looking at some of it, and there was a couple times where he's like completely just shifting on entire offensive lines.
Yeah,
it seemed like he was doing, and like almost like running through safeties, and I mean he is more talented than I feel like.
And I'm only saying he's going to be that because of, I think, the weapons that they're going to have. Like, would I get him if they were going to have Tom Brady and adding Gronk and then those 2 wide receivers? Like, how do you game plan and stop that offense? I mean, the only linebacker who I think could give him a hard time always running up the middle would be freaking Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
And no, I don't see any other linebackers really chasing him down up the middle. And if he can catch a little bit, it's over.
I didn't fact check this, but I did see this stat today, just because you said something about Tom Brady, is Tom Brady's thrown for 10% of all Super Bowl touchdowns.
Oh.
It's pretty insane.
That's crazy.
Is Tom Brady the GOAT?
I don't know, man.
I don't think so.
You can't fucking.
I hate Tom Brady.
I know. I don't like him that much either.
You hate Tom Brady, but can you not agree? Just like what you were saying about Baker, and I totally agree with what you're saying about Mayfield. And I'm not a Tom Brady fan either, but that doesn't scare you, like that offense with Tom Brady. Like, you don't think they can do the same thing?
Well, what I was going to say is that I'm always looking for players on good offenses.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing some stats saying that in terms of like the running backs and how they finished like in the top 15 running backs, I think it was, like they're always on good offenses. It's rare that a running back will be like a top 15, top 10 running back and then be on like a bottom 10 offense. So, I mean, if we think, and everyone's hyped on this offense to be
look at that
one of the better offenses or like a top 10 offense, then it's hard to ignore the fact that if Ronald Jones is going to see even half of the touches, or let's just say a 60-40 split, he's at least a low-end RB2 flex guy or a serviceable guy that you can play each and every single week. I mean, he's only 22 years old, too, so coming into his third year in the league, I mean, we'll see if – I mean, it does make sense, Maybe they call a play with 4 wide. They spread it out. But then Brady sees that. And he's like, okay, like I can easily get 5 yards on a run right here.
Yeah.
Let me just check it to a run on Ronald Jones. And I think, obviously, Bruce Arians is going to allow Brady to have free will to do what he wants, where Jameis probably didn't have that free will back last year with the Bucs. So, I mean, no, when you were telling me about it, I was like, all right, that sounds really good. And I actually told you, I was like, you got to come on the podcast and say that. So
I hope I'm right. But looking at these highlights, I think I'm going to be super right.
Those stats were
dumb fire.
I'm like, oh, shit,
sorry, I didn't have it.
I was like,
listen, dude.
I like it.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I know in my other leagues, like I'm sure one of you jerks will probably draft him in our league this year before.
I don't want him. Yeah, I'll let
what?
you have him.
All right, so if he balls out, are you going to come to us and be like,
it was not a flub?
Yeah. Mike, are you serious right now? Like
I don't like. I refuse to draft.
Mike hates
Buccaneers.
Bucs running backs.
I can't do it.
No, that's understandable. That's understandable.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's good.
Can't.
That's
I just
one
can't do it.
person
Especially
to worry
with the Keyshawn Vaughn thing. I can't do it. I don't know.
Fair.
What's his ADP? Do you know?
you got him in like what, the 7th round of the mock draft?
I think so.
6th round, maybe.
If he's top 5, like you're saying,
Bro, he has the potential to be, and I honestly, I drafted him a little too early. I thought your guys' fantasy knowledge was a little bit better than it was.
I don't think top 5. You're just wishful thinking right now. Are you sure you're not high? Cause
No, I'm positive.
Yeah, we're getting called Sports Illustrated.
But with the lack of receiving upside, his total yardage and the especially in PPR,
lack of receiving
even half
upside
of
with
PPRs.
Jameis Winston as his quarterback. Like I think he can do little, like you said. How can you not do little dump downs? He's gonna be.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Bro, Christian McCaffrey's not gonna be top 5 this year.
What?
Yeah, you heard that here first.
Oh my god, dude! All right, we're never having him on the podcast.
Bro, you said good players. You said good players.
Hey, listen, he's been watching the Clownseller, dude. What goes up must come down. It's common sense.
What's your theory? Christian McCaffrey won't be top 5,
No.
but Ronald Jones will be top 5.
Yes.
Hey, how about this? Did you see our interesting stat of the day on Christian McCaffrey?
No.
Christian McCaffrey could have scored 0 touchdowns in 2019, and he would still have been the #1 running back.
Really? Jeez.
How can you say Christian McCaffrey won't be at least top 5?
Kyle Allen is going to be his quarterback. Name me one receiver on their
Allen.
team.
Yeah, but Kyle Allen was his quarterback last
Teddy
year.
Bridgewater.
Or Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, excuse me.
I think the Carolina Panthers are going to be one of the worst
They're about to run
teams
that
in the
Baylor spread offense, though.
I feel like people are a little bit sleeping on Teddy Bridgewater.
league. Is he going to be the starter?
Yeah.
They paid him.
Really?
Kyle Allen's not even on the team anymore.
Oh. Well, you know what?
Shows
I
how
take
much you
back
know,
what I
dude.
said about Christian McCaffrey. I digress. Let's edit that part out.
Hey, listen.
Let's edit that part out.
Is there anything else you guys
Why
want?
is everyone so fucking stupid?
I'm just
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on this episode or what? Anything interesting that you guys saw in the world? I shared that Tom Brady stat. I couldn't believe that. That's insane
crazy.
to me.
Yeah.
I got to double check though before I start just talking about it in our podcast.
That was good. You both actually had some really good sleepers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Can you really consider?
the Ronald Jones is a good one. I think people are kind of sleeping on him. You know, and I think people are kind of jumping on that Keyshawn Bond bandwagon.
Yeah.
But it's like Ronald Jones he already knows the system. You know, it's the second year in the system with him. Yeah, it's Brady too. You know, it's third year in the league.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Bond's still a rookie. He's still got to learn the playbook. He still has to learn how to be a pro.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between college and the NFL. And I don't know, like I said, I just wasn't even impressed by what Keyshawn Bond did in Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine a scenario where he just steps in right away and he's just like this rookie superstar.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys
Cut
want.
to.
I don't know if you guys want to talk about this on the podcast, but I really would like to hear your take on the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh,
Ask Mike. He
I
loves
love
the
the Cardinals this year.
Really?
I love the Cardinals.
Can
this
you
year.
explain to
I'm
me
gonna bet the house on it, dude.
what?
I don't have a house though.
What really? So you're sold on?
I think the Cardinals did really well with their draft with Isaiah Simmons. They addressed their line. I think that I think
Really?
that it's just gonna be. I think that they could for sure win that division, which is a hard division. I think they could.
I mean, I don't know
win that
about
division.
I wouldn't side with Mike on that one, but
Dude,
I think the Cardinals are gonna
you were talking about betting the.
the Steelers.
Well, yeah, you were.
Not that I know there's a Steelers flag here. I'm not a Steelers fan, but
yeah,
I do like
but
the
you talking
Steelers
about their
this year.
defense like you like them.
Dude,
Like
The
that.
I'm
Steelers,
s-
the Steelers defense is the truth.
So and my boy Big Ben comes back and Juju can.
I do like the Cardinals offense. I think they're going to be one of the most exciting offenses. Like you just heard, I like getting players that are going to be on good offenses, and I still think their defense will be a little bit better than last year. But I think their defense will still be kind of weak, so they'll be in a lot of high scoring games, keeping up. I mean, I love Drake. I'm all in on Drake this year. You think Ronald Jones will finish higher than Drake? So that means Drake would have to finish in the top 5.
Does Drake split touches?
It doesn't look like he's going to split touches. I'm just trying to.
I don't know about.
I'm just trying to beer bet you.
I don't know. I'm not really sold on theirs. I'm not in on the Arizona Cardinals like that. So
No,
I don't. I really
is
don't
that
know.
why did you ask? I'm just curious.
Because I had heard, like I'm a huge DeAndre Hopkins fan.
Right.
I think he is the second best receiver in the NFL.
Adams, you like first,
I like Julio. I think Julio is.
but you
the
drafted
be-
Adams.
I
in the-
did. Okay. Can we defend that? Let's not act like you guys.
Yeah.
You guys shit on me right off the bat.
All right,
with
yeah.
the
So we
number
did a
one
mock
overall
draft,
pick.
and you had the first overall pick. Of course,
did.
it's a mock draft, but you took Devontae Adams with the very first pick
did.
over any
I
running
did.
back,
Let me-
which was okay. Like we were giving you shit about it,
Yeah.
but then when you elaborated off air to me,
Yes.
explain.
It was dumbfire.
Yeah.
Okay. So Devontae Adams, is it a reach at the number one overall pick? Probably yes, but I'm not a running back guy, so I never draft running backs. So I'm
Just
looking
all
at
receivers.
I'm always wide receivers, and I'm looking at it from the aspect like Aaron Rodgers is not happy, or from rumors. I think it's his contract year. I don't know, right? We talked about.
I'm not sure if it's his contract. I can look it
But
up.
Aaron Rodgers has got something to prove. And before Devontae Adams went down with the turf toe, and I think that put him out for, I want to say, 5 to 6 weeks, Devontae Adams, he's still the last 3 years led the league in targets, most touchdown, not receptions, most touchdown targets, or end zone targets, red zone targets. I apologize. And who else does Aaron Rodgers have on that team to throw to? Nobody else. And Devontae Adams does it time and time again, with A-Rod trying to, I don't know, hey, this is my last year in Green Bay, I'm going to go all out, and he's just going to sling that ball to Devontae Adams all the freaking time. And I just think Davante Adams is just going to eat. And if he can stay healthy, when he came back, before he got hurt, I think he was the number 1 wide receiver in yards. Then when he came back, I think he ended up finishing 3rd when he came back. He only played like 3 games.
Yeah, I love Davante Adams. No, Rodgers has 2 more years. Technically he's got 4 more years on his contract, but they could potentially get out of that contract after the 2022 year. So he has at least or before the 22 years. So he has at least 2 more years in Green Bay. But I do agree. I mean, there's not a lot of mouths to feed over there in terms of the target. So could he lead the NFL in targets? Like you said, would you say 170 or something like that, give or take? Yeah. So that's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, they did go get Funches, who I actually thought about having Funches as my sleeper. Maybe he'll be one of my future sleepers. But I mean, I'm not concerned about Alan Lazard and Jake Kumaro or whatever. And then I know they have Jake Sternberger or something. I'm butchering that name, but second-year tight end. I'm not worried about him at all stealing touches. AJ Dillon's not a receiving back. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, they'll get their targets too. But I mean, 150 plus targets. That's and
him and Aaron
that's
Rodgers,
in the books for Davante Adams. I think he's probably one of the ultimate safe players. Like you're saying, because you could draft. Okay, for instance, to kind of defend you taking Davante Adams at 1. If you took Saquon last year or even Alvin Kamara last year, like I did, at the number 1 spot, those guys both got hurt for a good chunk of the year, and they didn't perform to the players you did. Granted, Davante Adams got hurt as well too, but if you would have taken a guy like Michael Thomas with the first overall pick, you would not have been mad at that, right? No. So the injury risk isn't as high for the running backs compared to a wide receiver, or vice versa.
And that's why I don't draft running backs. And I just think when A-Rod's locked in and those two are dialed in, they know each other so well that I just love Davante Adams. It sucks they got to play the Bears twice, but he still tortures the Bears too.
It don't matter. You know what's crazy though, because he does play in one of the tougher divisions in terms of defense. So, like he would play against Xavier Rhodes. I know he is not the same as he was before, but even Darius Slay, and then even Kyle Fuller and Prince Amukamara, who were on the Bears. And it's like you were thinking, all right, 6 games of the year, he's got to go against those corners and those defenses, and he was still feasting and eating on them. And there's no other options. They know you're throwing the ball to him.
Exactly.
So. I love Davante Adams.
And Funches, I think Funches will make his job easier. You're still going to double him for sure. They're still going to double him. Yeah. But Funches is a pretty. I think he could.
I think people are sleeping on Funches because he got hurt last year and he didn't play. So I feel like people have totally forgot who Funches is. But he's a big body guy, obviously the Packers felt like they needed to go get somebody. Yeah. I'm saying they didn't draft any wide receivers, so Funches to me is going to be the number 2 in this offense, and I think if you can get the number 2, and Aaron Rodgers is throwing you the ball, there's going to be a lot of Funches I take for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Do you?
Does DeAndre Hopkins finish as the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. I think.
I don't even think he finishes the top 5.
What?
Yeah. I think he'll be in that 6 to 10 range.
But they're throwing 45 times a game.
Yeah, but they have Christian Kirk. You still got Larry Fitzgerald, who's going to get his, and then Drake, and then Kyler Murray's going to run it too sometimes.
I do like Christian Kirk though.
Who you taking, Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield?
Oh, Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, hands down. But here's the thing: you get to get Kyler Murray, you're gonna have to 6th round maybe, give or take. Yeah, Baker Mayfield 12th round, 13th round.
All right. Hot take: Kyler Murray finishes above Lamar Jackson.
That's a hot take.
I could see that. I don't know if Lamar Jackson can do this year what he did last year, I would be in awe. I don't think he's going to be as successful.
No, yeah. I just don't.
I hope.
Because if that happened and he finished better than Lamar Jackson, this is what Lamar Jackson would say.
Fuck you, Cat.
Fuck you, Kyle Shanahan.
Hey,
Cliff Kingsbury.
In my keeper league, am I keeping Lamar Jackson or Davante Adams?
Davante Adams.
Okay.
Bro, because you can draft Baker in the 12th round.
It's true. That is
gross.
Gross.
Yeah, not good. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
Do you have a comment on that? Would you keep Lamar Jackson or Davante Adams?
Would you draft Lamar Jackson with the 1st overall pick?
No.
But you did it for Davante Adams. So I think that right there explains it.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, he just broke that down for you.
Bam.
Wow.
Just like Devontae Adams used to. My boy.
I like it.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on, guys?
Nope.
Defend yourself on anything else? All right. You want to do that intro or outro? Thanks for listening. This has been episode 26 of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. We got Justin here. He came. He defended his title.
Hey, how come I don't get a nickname? Everybody has a nickname. No. We'll talk about that next.
What do you want your nickname to be?
We're gonna have to talk about that offline.
off air. All right. Anyways, thank you for listening to the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, the number one podcast of all podcasts, not just fantasy football. We're not so average. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app if you enjoyed this episode. If you got any info from this episode that you really liked, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know. If you need any advice, say you're going to go into your draft and you're like, fuck, I don't even know who I should get in this 6th round. You give us a message. Give us a DM. Shoot us a text, but don't do that because I don't want you to have a number.
They don't answer texts because I was texting them last week during their podcast when they kept talking crap about me and they were super late to respond.
Well, maybe if you're in the live stream, bro, you could.
I tried to phone in like freaking Dr. Evil did earlier.
Who wants to be a millionaire? You can't
tried to phone in like Dr. Evil earlier, but you guys didn't answer.
Everybody's getting more nicknames while Justin still doesn't have one. We call you The Rock.
Ooh, I don't know if I like that one.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna come up with something else.
We'll call you Boulder Shoulders. All right.
Ooh.
Anyways.
Hey, we'll fucking call you Pineapple, fool.
Hey, this fucker coming with a pineapple, bro.
That was a good show, though. You guys did good information.
All right.
You did good, bro.
You did great.
That feels good.
You gonna come on again?
I'll be here.
For sure.
I'm going to get more subscribers. #nationalguard.com.
Thanks for listening, guys. That's all we got. And we're out.